390 Wagon Master here. All right. This is a little video on the DIGISCAN UFO PLL synthesizer. And Slingerrr sent this over to me, so thank you, Robert. He sent it over in unknown condition. And I spent the better half of about 8 hours on this puppy overall, trying to get this device to work. And so what I did is I actually tested it just running 12 volts to it and not having the synthesizer cables hooked up to the radio. Now, if you remember in the very first radio I did on the DIGISCAN, I did that, and not knowing what I know now, digit number, or the first digit here, was in an L pattern, and I thought the LED was out, but that was telling me that it was in an unlock mode, and there was a problem. So when I hooked it up to the radio, it worked fine. So anyway, when I first got this, the step up down wouldn't work, and this still works. So you can scan up, but you can't scan down. But I found something interesting. You can scan up, and you hit the peak here, which is quite a ways up. Then you can scan down. And before I could only scan down about maybe 50 kcs. Now see, look, we still can't go up. And when we get to the rock bottom here, then it'll let me scan up. And sometimes with zeros or fives here. So it's either 5 or 10 kc splits. And of course, see, we can go up, but I still can't go down at all. So I started looking at the board. I took the board out, and all the solder joints on the bottom of the board on the foil side were perfect, like impressive. Solder joints up top on the chips, because this is a double-sided board, were terrible. I had to do a whole row of them back here. And then I got it to the point where it has clean digits here, and it would give me the option of actually hitting the top, because at one point it would only go to 28 megs. And then at one point it went to like 30 or 31. No, it was 30 megs. Now see how that goes? Now if I push it up and hold it, right? Oh, see, it just kind of does what it wants to do. Okay, now let's see if it'll step down. Nope, because it's done that sometimes as well. Anywho, so I got it to act a little bit better, and then I'm thinking, wait a minute, Mike, hook it up to the radio. Maybe that's the problem. So I install it, and no cigar, that is not the problem. This does not want to work at all. There's really no information on this puppy out there on the internet as far as a schematic or any kind of troubleshooting or anything like that, which kind of sucks. This is an odd version, apparently. I'm going to assume it's a later version because it has this board in here. The previous version has these little block jumpers here across, and that's how you program it. But this doesn't operate that way. So, which makes it even harder to get info. So at this point, I'm going to classify this as NWR. I searched all over the interwebs for information, went over to Worldwide DX, which is like a forum that I really enjoy. They have a lot of knowledgeable people there, not full of CB butchery and stuff, and it's been a really helpful site over the last 10 years. I do have an account there, and I don't really comment at all because I really have nothing to bring. It's such a technical site. I have nothing to really offer to that, in my opinion. But I put out a question. Somebody had one of these and wanted some info, and I asked if he got any, because it's been 6 months or so since there was any activity on there. And Nomad Radio, which in my opinion, I don't know who the guy is, but in my opinion, that's a very knowledgeable guy. Just perusing through that and looking at some of his comments on various radios that I've had questions on throughout the years, his information has always been really rock solid. And I'm going to paraphrase, but he's basically saying he doesn't even mess with these things anymore. There's really no way to fix them at this point, as far as I know. So, that being said, NWR, not worth repair. I am going to keep it for a parts rig. You know, if I need any segments or anything like that, or maybe chips or anything. I know I could probably look these up, and I may not give up on this yet. But anyway, so it's NWR. It's not gonna go on the Robin. And let me turn this puppy off. So I have it hooked up to power. So here's my negative. Here's the positive back here at the relay. Let me unplug it and I'll flip it over real quick. Somebody on the last video wanted to know how I hooked it up to this radio. The DIGISCAN 400, by the way, that's going to go back on it. Nothing wrong with it. I just have the lid off for comparison. So here, it's really easy. So here's what you do. Okay, so disregard this this red jumper here. This radio's been hacked and whacked before I got it, but it is operational. It's one of my favorite 858 chassis to date so far. So super easy to hook up, in my opinion. You take coax number 1, they label the coax, and you go to pin 11 on the 858. So you hook the center pin, or the center of the coax to pin 11. Then you take the shield, you go over to ground, and I've grounded along this wall right here, okay? This is a great PC ground, very solid ground. Then you take coax number 2, and you lift. Let me see if I can get in here a little bit better with the camera. There we go. And you lift R158 right here. There you go. You lift it, and you go off this side of R158, because when you lift R158, it takes pin 2 out of the equation here. So coax 2, the center coax 2 goes to R158. Then you run over here and C126. This is an electrolytic capacitor that's marked, by the way, in case you ever need to put it back. There's positive. This is a 1 microfarad 50 volt, and that goes right here. You want to take this out. So take this out, lift 158, coax 2 goes on 158 right there on the opposite side of pin 2. And then, of course, you tack on to pin 11 on the PLL. You want to be careful with this. Don't spend a lot of time on there. Get in there and get out, all right? You don't want to heat that up. These 858s apparently don't like that. I personally never fried one. This one looks like it's gone through hell. But anyway, rumor has it is you can wipe these out pretty easily. And then, of course, the shield to coax 2 goes up there on that wall, okay? And what I did is I just wrapped the shields around it and then soldered it on real good. So that's how easy that is to hook up. Super, super easy. So I am going to continue using this Robin. I love this radio. It's just an awesome radio. It's become one of my favorite mobiles. In fact, I will probably never put it in the mobile. It makes a great bass. But this is going to be my test bed radio for these DIGISCANs, because I would like to acquire some more and get a working one, because my idea is I want to put a DIGISCAN on that Cobra, right? So I'm going to use this as a test bed radio. These DIGISCANs, the DIGISCAN 400, this is Digilogic, and then this is REDCO here. Oh, I'm sorry, Digilog. Yeah, Digilog. They came out after REDCO went out of business. Not sure if it's a copy or possibly the same guys, but it's the exact same hookup. You wire these things in exactly the same way. These will work on the Cobra 2000s. They'll work on the 858s. They'll work on the 148s, the Washingtons, etc., etc. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a kind of a test bed radio. So I'm going to somehow adapt some plugs onto the back, and I have several ideas on how I'm going to do this. So basically, all I have to do is take some clip leads and power one of these up, and then plug this into the back of this, right? And then I won't have to tear this thing apart anymore. I won't have to keep on hitting pin 11 there with the soldering iron and all that stuff. Just going to make it easier on me. And this will be the go-to piece for that. The idea was to put one of these two on the Cobra. Now, my buddy Darren had an actual DIGISCAN UFO on his Cobra, and I fell in love with that way back in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, and so that's what I wanted to do, kind of relive that. But anyway, again, NWR, and then I believe I'm going to make this kind of like the test radio. So anyway, any of you guys out there that know about these or have successfully fixed these or have any type of service info on that, I would appreciate a little bit of help, comments, whatever, spiritual guidance. I don't care. I sure wish that ran. Anyway, so this is a NWR, not worth repair, and this is a Wagon Master fail video. Sucks. But anyway, please leave questions or comments down below. If you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please consider doing so. You know, all that YouTube blah 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 stuff. So anyway, take care. Cheers, everybody.